Hello everyone, it's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be trying some little bit of ink smooshing. I believe that's what they call it. I've been seeing a lot of videos. I say a lot. I've been seeing several videos over on YouTube and everything of different crafters doing this smooshing technique, and I thought I'd give it a try as well. So of course this is my technically my second try at this. My first try was not so good, and I didn't want to show that, but I did try again, and I really do like this result better. And the reason why I didn't like it was because of the pattern that I chose as far as a background, because I was using this watercolor paper from Tim Holtz, and it just wasn't a good combination. So I just started over and rethought my design process. So anyway, so I'm going to be prepping my watercolor cardstock here. Again, like I said, this is the Tim Holtz, and I'm using this stamp set from Mama Elephant called, I believe it's called Friend Indeed. And I love this stamp set. I love good sentiment stamp sets. I just, I can't get enough of them. And I love the big bold font of this one, especially the main friend greeting here. I love how bold it is. I want to get the die of this too eventually. So I am prepping my stamp with Versamark, and I'm stamping that down, and then I'm going to grab my gold embossing powder. This is my gold embossing powder that I've had for ever since I've been stamping, and this is from Stampin' Up. It's pretty good. I don't know if they still sell it. I'm sure they do, but it's pretty good embossing powder. So I'm going to go ahead and heat set that, and you can see how pretty and gold that is. I just love gold embossing powder for that reason. So, and I wanted something different other than white. So now we're going to go ahead and prep our supplies or whatever for the ink smooshing. And I've chosen 3 different colors of distress ink here. And I'm going to start off with Salty Ocean. I was going to do the, I believe it's Blue Lagoon or something like that, but I didn't want that big bold of blue in this. So I decided to go with Salty Ocean instead. And I figured out that I don't need to put so much ink. Whenever I was doing this the first time, I was putting a whole bunch of ink and a whole bunch of water, and that became like a mess, as you can imagine. So I decided just to try to slightly dampen my paper as well as onto my acetate sheet here. And if you've never seen this technique, it's supposed to be a way to kind of control how you put down your watercolor, because normally if you do this with the brush or with water and keep adding color or whatever, you really don't know how it's going to turn out. So this is kind of a way to kind of control where you're putting down your color, and especially whenever you start to blend different colors. So I'm going to start blending now, and I'm going to use this is Squeeze Lemonade. I had to think about it. Squeeze Lemonade. I love this bright yellow color. And again, I'm just barely wetting the acetate sheet as well as my paper. That seems to kind of work a little bit better for me than just wetting just the acetate. So I'm just kind of smooshing around, like I said, placing where I want the color primarily, and kind of dotting away a little bit more of the extra water, because I don't want this to get too muddy. Because as I add more color, it can really tend to go that way to where it looks kind of muddy, and you don't want that. I want to really keep the colors bright and bold. So now this is raspberry preserves, I believe, and I've got a little bit more of this color here because I really like this. I want this color to be a little bit more prominent than any of the others. And I'm just kind of moving it along and kind of dotting it, and like I said, dotting away the extra water, and I'm just kind of going with it and just kind of playing around and seeing how this goes. Like I said, this is technically the second time I've done this, and so it didn't turn out too bad. So I went ahead and finished all that, and then I went ahead and heat set that because I'm going to stamp down the sentiment here a little bit. But I'm grabbing this, I wanted a little bit more gold in the background of my panel. So I just cut down a piece of this Basil Basics cardstock with the gold diagonal stripe. It's one of my favorite patterns out of the whole pack. And I'm just applying this to my A2 size card base, which is my favorite white card stock, the Paper Tray Ink Stamper Select. And I cut it down just to have a very, very minimal white border on the top and bottom of my card stock here. And it didn't, on the end here, I didn't trim it down just as much as I thought. So here in a moment, I'm going to trim off the ends here of one end because it's just a little bit too long. Very, very minimal cutting it down. So, and now I'm going to add some foam adhesive to this piece because we heat embossed and also used water to that. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and finish off the sentiment, like I said. And I'm using the Oh Hello part of the other side of the sentiment. And I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black, one of my favorite black inks. And I think this black with the gold and the color just really goes really, really well. It just makes it pop. So I'm stamping that down, and now I'm going to go ahead and add that foam adhesive. And I had a little mishap. As I was putting my foam adhesive here, I was cutting my foam adhesive with my Cutter Bee scissors and not realizing how close my finger was to the tip. I snipped the end of my finger. So that's why I have the Band-Aid all of a sudden. So I apologize for the little bloody Band-Aid. But the show goes on, right? So anyway, so I had to quit filming abruptly and tend to my finger before I finished my card. So anyway, I went ahead and finished off putting the foam adhesive and mounted that to my card base. And then, like I said, I was just trimming off the end here. And that pretty much finishes up the card. Really, really fun technique. I think I'm going to give it a try and try different colors and see how far I can get with it. Maybe do some softer colors or something. But for the most part, it's a really fun technique. So I hope that you give it a try. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.